Hello, this is Francis from McCaffrey's Crafts, and today I thought I'd just make a video about another question that I got. Because sometimes it's a bit easier to kind of make a video than kind of send a message back and forth through emails. I got a request from this gentleman over the weekend about a concept of a stick that he was very interested in. And he gave me all the details, and I was trying to explain to him that I don't think it was possible for this type of wood to kind of be out there too much. And I thought I'd just make a video because it'd be a bit easier to explain. So I got an email from a guy. He said he wanted a 6-foot tall walking staff. He said the staff had to be 2 inches in diameter all the way down, and it had to have all loads of thorns and knuckles and everything on it. So I was trying to say in there that it's very hard, if not even, I haven't seen any piece of wood like that out there. And there's a number of issues with even trying to make something like that as well. For one, the circumference being 2 inches in diameter for most of the stick down, that's going to be very heavy. A 6-foot tall stick with a 2-inch diameter, you won't be able to hold that or use it. It's completely over the top in terms of what is practical for use as a walking stick or a hiking stick or a walking staff. It's just simply too heavy and too big. And even if you're trying to move it along, it's going to just err on the side of ridiculous. And again, a lot of this comes from movies and from different things as well. Like Monk Begin in Gangs New York, he had this massive giant cudgel and he's waving it around with one hand like it's made of foam or something. But here's the thing. It wasn't made of foam. It wasn't a solid piece of wood that Brendan Gleeson was swinging around. His wrists would be in trouble, when you have something that big and heavy. So a lot of dramatization over the years and through pictures and through everything creates this huge image of these monster blackthorn sticks. All of these artists' impressions of blackthorn. You'll see it throughout. And I was even on Facebook there, and I saw there was a good discussion about the size and the weight ideal for blackthorn walking sticks. And like most blackthorn sticks, the ideal weight is maybe 200 to 500 grams. It's kind of nice and easy. Like you can get the heavier thick ones as well that look pretty good, but there does come a point when it becomes too heavy. And at 2 inches diameter and 6 foot tall, that's too heavy. Another thing too, if that piece of wood existed, when you were drying out and seasoning the wood, any piece that is over 1.25 or 1.5 inch in diameter is at high risk of cracking. When you're seasoning thicker pieces, they do crack extensively. It's very there's a reason why a lot of those kind of cudgels and stuff aren't out there, because it is hard enough to get a big, thick, heavy piece of blackthorn that doesn't snap or split. Like when it's 2 inches in diameter, for any of the pieces that I've had over the past 13 years that we're seasoning, the line, 95% of them would have cracked badly too. Like they crack and they go right down deep, no matter what you do to them. So for a stick of this size, in terms of it, when it's starting to season, starting to dry up and the sap's removing, it's very, very prone to having some really, really bad cracks, which take away from the integrity of it. Also trying to get a straight piece 6 foot tall in a thorny bush where it's looking for the light the whole time. Like in a blackthorn bush, you have to kind of understand it's used as hedging. It intertwines, it twists this way and that way. It goes this way for a little bit and this way for a little bit. It's actually very hard to find even one piece of wood that is 3 foot tall that you can make a walking stick out of. Usually these pieces are in the middle of the blackthorn bush and are growing up a little bit straighter because they're looking for the light. But a lot of these pieces as well, that they're going to be trunks. And this brings you on to the next point. Like to get a 2-inch diameter stick with all thorns, like all the knuckles and thorns, like the knuckles and thorns that you see on a blackthorn, they're usually from the branches. They're coming out from the trunk, and the various branches that grow in different directions. Like on a trunk, which is the thickest part of the blackthorn that comes up, which you can get some thick pieces, and that's your best bet of getting that type of wood. But those pieces on the trunk, they don't have all knuckles. They'll have a few thorns every now and again coming out, but anyone who knows anything about blackthorn, I've seen them, there's not all the knuckles on the trunk that if you're seeing a root, what's called a root ball made from the roots, and it's got all knuckles on it, like no, that's not a root ball. They just call it a root ball because it's a knob stick. Basically, people confuse knob stick with root ball. To me, a root ball means you have made it in the shape of a ball from the roots. It doesn't mean you've made it in the shape of a ball from the trunk, or made it in the shape of a ball from a branch. It's from the root. To me, that is what a root ball is. And a lot of people throw out, the word root ball. It's a selling thing. Like people say, oh, buy the root ball because they think it's come from the root. But look online, like, you see guys selling root balls and you just have to laugh. Look, at the end of the day, if it's a nice stick, it's pretty good. Like, you don't need to kind of say this is a root ball or this is it and that. It's basically a knob stick, not a root ball. So, if you want to try to get some piece that is 6 foot tall, that is thick, like, the only chance you have of getting a piece of wood like that is from the trunk. That's going to go thick and be a bit strong and go up. And it might actually be pretty cool if you pull out the root, because it might have a very interesting handle as well. But it's not going to have all the knuckles. So, you can't have it all in this type of stick. And, it was just a bit easier, I thought, to kind of explain because, the weight, the size, the features that you want just don't occur in heavy, thick pieces like that. Like most of the branches, they grow thick enough. Like, the branches and things that go swirl around. Like, you might get, like, if it's a really, really, really old blackthorn, that's from, for like, 40, 50 years growing in a thorny bush, and some of the branches have actually got quite thick as well. They'll actually have some kind of purple wood and heartwood inside it. They are the most highly prone to cracking. The old blackthorn that's really thick and heavy, when you try to season them, dear God, man, did they crack. Like, the amount of pieces that became firewood that I had was insurmountable. If you think about all the hard work, like, remember as well, if you're going out blackthorn cutting, a lot of it's going to end up like as firewood as well. Like, you play the numbers game. You cut a lot, like, but not every piece of blackthorn you cut is going to make it. You cut a piece of blackthorn and you're like, yeah, that's going to be this, that's going to be that. But here, newsflash for you, and sorry to burst the bubble of new stick makers, a lot of what you cut as well, like, it gets damaged, it starts to rot, it cracks, it doesn't do well. Not everyone will make it. That's why, it's survival of the fittest with blackthorn. You got to cut. And again, I got another message from some guys like out cutting already and stuff in Ireland and things, like, the guy is way too keen as mustard. Like, just take it slow down, lad. It's not even, the leaves are still on the tree. The temperatures are still, 13, 14 degrees out Celsius, which is pretty warm. The sap is still there. Like, if you cut sticks now, they're going to take an extra 6 months to a year to season and dry out. Just slow down. Wait until probably like the end of October, early November, because like it's still actually too kind of warm. The weather hasn't like really got cold and wintertime yet that the sap has retracted into the roots. So like slow down with the cutting. Like it's like, you're wasting your time. Wait 2 weeks, it might save you a year on the stick. So a bit of advice there. Like, I'm probably going to make more of these videos just answering questions, because like, I was trying to message back the guy, and I don't know, how I came across, because sometimes I'll just say, no, I'm not possible to do this, and the guy's, well, oh, come on, man, of course. And then the argument I was getting, well, oh, blackthorns grow longer or go longer than 6 foot, but like, they don't grow like straight. They grow in all different directions. It's a thorny bush. Like, grows 1 foot this way, 1 foot this way, down this way, every single direction. That's why, like, it's, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing blackthorn, and blackthorn would be everywhere. But like, blackthorn is hard to find the pieces of wood that you can use as a hiking staff and as a walking staff. Blackthorn isn't rare in Ireland, it's plentiful, but what is rare is those bushes that actually have that piece of wood in which you can make a walking stick. And I suppose that's the most important thing for today. Anyway, look, thanks for watching, and goodbye.